Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven development video. I'm recording this on June 4th, 2012, picking up where I left off. And we were just looking at these methods here, starting balance, starting cost basis, and yearly spending on application model. And what these methods do is just provide access to configuration data, which we're now storing in user configuration. And because they're just acting as pass-throughs, that makes me wonder if we would be better off exposing the user configuration directly rather than hiding it behind these proxies. So that's a fairly major design change and not necessarily one for the better. So let's go and answer this. Well, before we get into that, let's look at our Scratchpad. We did this. This is our ugly cheat here that we're going to probably want to handle more generically. We have this idea of the save file data clump, moving that into a configuration object. Well, we did that. So we can take that out. Escalontola suggested a file format. The file format we have right now is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. So we will do that later, if at all. We need to decide what to do with the original user entered values in the UI. We'll come back to that. I think it would be nice if we reformat them when we move away from the field and then format them back to the user entered values when we come back into the field. But again, that's future. We are actually possibly doing this now. We have to deal with multiple files being opened. That comes after we do loading, though. And we have some edge cases to cover in terms of saving files. So let's see. So this is loading, which we haven't gotten to yet. And this is bug fixing. And we are handling I/O exceptions. We'll take a second look at this. Do we have any special cases that we need to deal with? So right now we're working on finishing saves. And really that's done. Now we're on to just considering the design questions that came out from it. Okay. All right. A lot of stuff in here that needs to be cleaned up, I think, but I don't want to go into that right now. Well, let's just take a quick look. Yeah, that's all longer term stuff. So that smoke test is something that we'll need to do. I don't want to do that right now, though. I think I'd like to finish this design question of what are we going to do about starting balance, starting cost basis is yearly spending. And what I would really like to do is see if we can get rid of our mocks in the application entirely. That would be cool. I think that would make our code cleaner, easier to understand, and also would illustrate the purpose of, illustrate the point about this hack and the state-based testing approach versus the mock-based testing approach. There's a lot out there about mock-based testing, not so much about state-based testing, which I think is actually simpler. So I'd like to do that. So let's see, or or I'm unaware of its limitations, which is equally possible. So let's explore this and see if we can find those limitations or demonstrate how it works. I don't know. It'll be one of the two. So to do that, I think we want to figure out who's using this. So we want to find our references. Come on. Well, right now, nobody's using it. Is that really true? Is it just the test that's using it? Oh, I see. It's configuration panel test. So we could in our configuration panel test pass in that user configuration dependency. However, that is a bridge slightly too far in my opinion, because here we're testing configuration panel and we're passing in the application model dependency of that. And then to pass in yet another dependency just so we can look at it, that doesn't feel like good design to me. That feels like the road to ruin. And, you know, dependency injection frameworks and stuff like that. So, and this is also where we're using our application model SPY. So what we're doing here is we're constructing our configuration panel. And in the configuration panel, when the text changes, we call set starting balance on application model. Right. And set starting balance goes and updates the projection. Now it's already a bit cumbersome and we're going to continue to add more fields. What if, I'm just thinking out loud here, I don't know if this is a good idea. What if configuration panel looked at, what if it, rather than doing this, did something like this, where it said user configuration dot starting balance equals field dot get dollars, and application model dot configuration updated. So we tell the application model. Now, the advantage of that is that now what we're doing here is we're making application model a lot simpler. We take out all this code and we just have a little method that says configuration updated, which basically says redo the stock market projection. Now, but the disadvantage is now we're replicating this code, configuration updated, everywhere. Is that actually an improvement? It's actually kind of a form of duplication, and it's violating encapsulation in a sense. We kind of want the application model to manage its own problems. So, does it make sense for configuration panel to operate directly on user configuration rather than on application model? Now, the other thing we could do is we could have user configuration publish events, not events in the formal sense, but through the observer pattern. We could have application model subscribe to configuration, user configuration, and whenever user configuration changed, it could inform all of its observers and application model could take action. That is the sort of, official way to handle this sort of problem, but it's also a whole lot of ugly code. I mean, the code's not going to be that ugly, but it's a whole lot of code to do something really simple. I don't want to write an observer pattern and an event notifier and all that stuff, especially since in Java they don't make it easy. And events are kind of hard to debug. I don't like using events because of the way they propagate. I find them difficult to reason about and to debug. So it seems to me that our design choices here are between A, the status quo, which is an application model having a getter and a setter for every piece of data that we persist in the system, which right now is these three, but will continue to grow and will continue to get uglier, and it's already ugly. That's option A. Option B is to have configuration panel talk directly to user configuration, which would be really simple, but then have to duplicate this call to tell the application model that the configuration has been updated every time it updates. That strikes me as a slightly lesser evil than what we've got right now, but only slightly. There's still some evil to it. And then option C is to have user configuration inform application model that has been updated, and the clean way to do that is through the observer pattern, so that application model and user configuration are not coupled to each other. Well, I'm not sure which is best, to be honest. Let's go ahead and try option B, that is this one here with a bit of duplication on application model, and see where it goes. And I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments. I think there's lots. The thing with design is, of course, there's never a right answer. It's only, you never really know how well a design's going to work out until you live with it for a while. And I've lived with this application model design for a while, and it's okay. I mean, it's not really causing a lot of pain, but it feels like it's getting ugly. I hate getters and setters. They are, in my mind, a sign of a problem. So, especially in a case like this where it's not a data container. A lot of getters and setters on user configuration wouldn't be so bad because it's just a data container. But here, not so much. I want application model to be the controller, the dispatcher for the application, not the data container. So, yeah, let's do that next. Let's migrate application model to support a, what did we call it? Configuration updated method. I really don't know if this is an improvement. Well, let's try it, see how it works out. Can always change it back. So what that means is that configuration update results in stock market table model changing. And I think we can use the same code here, except now we'll say configuration.yearly spending equals yeah. Of course, that doesn't exist. And that should work. And that is all of our time. So we will pick up with this again next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you then.